Hi, my name is Alfreda Bony. I am the owner of PSC Consulting. We are a workforce and professional development consulting firm supporting small businesses and nonprofits in Northeast Florida, Southeast Georgia, and the virtual U.S. We've been doing this roughly for over the last 12 years here in Florida, on and off, I would say, but background being probably over 25 years of industry knowledge and expertise. So my background has been over 20 years as a talent acquisition recruiter, and I actually got into small business, I would say, just by seeing a need. I used to work for the Georgia Department of Labor, and in that role as a DOL specialist, I saw people coming in that were looking for work, but it was like they just wasn't securing it. And I had to always ask the question, what was the issue? What was the real problem? Like, there's always going to be a foundational problem, right? And so what I saw was that, people don't know what they don't know. And a lot of the challenge was that they lacked the confidence in preparation, whether it was through the documents like their resumes, whether it was through being confident in their interviewing and knowing their worth and how to actually articulate that in an interview, even knowing how to find the right job, right? Because there's a job for everybody, but not every job is for everybody. And so I literally started the business in that way, and I supported some nonprofits in the area. And from there, I got recruited to work with the National Job Corps program at a local Job Corps center in Brunswick, Georgia. I started working with that 16 to 24-year-old age group. That has been a passion of mine, to work with that generation, that group, to help them to build their careers out, to learn what we call their employability skills, their soft skills, because we expect them to go to work, but we don't tell them how. So definitely, if you are older, you feel like you have experience behind you that makes you valuable. But what do we do for our younger generation that has never had that experience? How do they really become professionals? And they have to be taught. It's not a known thing, because if it was known, everybody would do it right. So it has to be taught. And so that's where the actual idea of career consulting and being able to share the wisdom that I gained from my past work experience came. I think the biggest thing for me is trying to be as authentic as possible, right? I believe in relationships and not transactions. A lot of times we try to do the one and dones. We feel like, well, we just, give a product or a service and that's it. Before I'm trying to sell you anything, I need to know who you are, and I need to know what your problem is. One thing I've learned in training is that you're either going to be a solution or a treatment to somebody. A solution might be a one-time deal that you use me for that moment and that's it. A treatment may mean that we have to have connection for a number of times to get the desired result. But a lot of times in small business, you find that a lot of people just only look at a person as a dollar sign. And I am just beyond that, because I want to build relationship. I realize that I can go in and really just ask you what you need and be able to help you meet your need. And maybe I can't even service you at that point of time. I may need to refer you out to somebody else, but I'm still giving you value. And now you're going to maybe circle back around at a later date and be able to use me. So you're never going to look at somebody as just one and done. And I feel like that if you can, tap into that gift of really looking long-term, dealing with individuals and clients instead of looking at them as just this one point of contact, that is what leads to business success and longevity, versus you feeling like I got to always keep looking for it, because those people are going to bring more business to you, and they're going to refer you to more people because you've built relationship. They'll look out for you quicker than, you just trying to go and market constantly. Now word of mouth happens. And that in referrals are what really sustain businesses sometimes. The best business lesson that I'm learning now, even in this season of business, is communication. There's such a thing as a lack of professional communication that can actually hurt your brand. And I say that to say that sometimes as an entrepreneur, you have to do everything. And you have to be everything for everyone that's in your life. So you have the mixture of personal and professional. If personal overlaps professional, it can really hurt your business too. Because for me, that communication means that if I'm going through something personally, it may make me stagnant. It may make me as an introvert, which people wouldn't believe, but I am. It would make me close down and shut down. But I'm still a professional and I'm still a business owner, and I really can't afford to shut down. But I have had that happen, and the issue would be that lack of communication to those that are connected to me or those that I am trying to connect to. Because if I shut down and they don't know why, then they're going to feel like I'm doing bad business. And honestly, that has hurt me. It has cost me, opportunities. It's cost me contracts. And so now that's a lesson that I feel like I've had experience enough to talk about it and be as authentic and transparent as I can, that we don't get it right all the time as business owners, because we feel like, well, in that moment, we have the right to try to solve our problem. But when you are your business, you got to think about everything on that level. And it's different if you was in corporate America. You could take a PTO day. You can't take PTO from your business. You can't take a day off when you really are saying, this is what I do 24/7, 365. And that has been a lesson that has been a hard lesson to take. Having to figure out, how do I make things right when I have messed up, and going back and being able to say, being transparent enough to admit the faults and then learn from them and adjust to do better. That's huge. And I think a lot of business owners have to get to that point, because it's happening more often than not. Man, at 21 years old, I had no clue. If I could go back and give advice to the 21-year-old Alfreda, I definitely would say, take risks and take more risk and stand on faith a lot stronger. I think back then I wasn't focused as a young adult. I was a mother, I was a wife at that age, and I did not know anything about the research of really trying to figure out my pathway, right? And now here I am, still learning, and still trying to figure out life, because I think you're going to always be a learner. You're never going to just really, say that you know everything, even as you get older. So at 21, it was me trying to establish myself and figure out where I was. I would definitely be more cognizant of the people that I put in my circle. I would be more open to just trying new things and experiencing life instead of waiting until I'm older, because sometimes some people haven't even made it to an age where they could do that. And I would just say, definitely stand on faith, because, everything is not going to be perfect, but definitely knowing your worth, knowing your value, and taking the risk to believe that you can do anything you want to and not be hindered by other people's opinions. So for PSC Consulting, now it's about pivoting. It's about looking at the business, what's working, what hasn't worked, even tapping into asking for help. Because when you get to a stage of business and you realize that you are hurting yourself more than you're helping yourself, you're going to have to step out and allow other people to help you. So that means, for me, allowing those who align with the vision and mission to help me with administration, I am so excited that I have opportunities to work with local city government on preparing other small businesses to do contracting, to go to outside cities, especially rural cities, and support small business development in those areas that don't get small business knowledge and development. Being able to really tap into that workforce development piece, especially with young adults. I am having a book published that would be supportive guide to them coming out of school, coming out of college, giving them the information that they need right now more than ever, especially, like I said, with AI and everything. There's still a human component that nobody's touching, because you can use technology, but there was still a human behind creating that too. And so just I've definitely loved the collaboration piece of working with other small businesses and nonprofits and supporting them in their missions and visions as it relates to workforce development and professional development training. So those are the things that we have going on, and I'm excited to finish out the year strong and to elevate the business to its next level. I love the Zig Ziglar quote where it says, you help yourself by helping so many others. Like, technically, the more I help others is what helps me. So what drives me is to see others win. I think I have more of a passion to see others win than I do myself, which should be an oxymoron, because a lot of times people are always in it for self. But I know that my purpose and my passion is in supporting others. I'm a servant leader first. And for me, I want to be able to help educate and help elevate the people that I'm connected to, communities. I realize that people don't know what they don't know. And sometimes I have been placed in positions in rooms where the information was never for me. It definitely was for me to pass on. At that point, when I became a trainer, I realized that, again, you can give information to a lot of people, but that doesn't mean they know what to do with it. So they do need that mediator or that partner, and I feel like that's what I become, to help them to understand and also help them to implement. So that's what we do. My goal and my tagline now is to unite and develop communities. And I know that I'm an advocate in that, and they call me the capability connector because of that. And so I'm excited for what that does. A new business tomorrow. I do have a side hustle, which I do a lot of crafting and, shirts and bling and stuff like that. And I love that during the COVID period. It definitely kept my mental together. A new business that I would want to do, which I have honestly been thinking about that. I've always wanted a staffing company, basically because I loved being able to put people into positions of work. But then there's a lot that goes behind the scenes of that. So I don't know if that's a feasible avenue to tap into. But I think if it was just to have a business that, was all about just my passion and my love, it would probably be hair. Because I mean, people know me by what I switch up on, but I think that it just allows you to express yourself in different ways, and you just be creative, and it's fun. And I know some amazing hairstylists that, is a part of therapy to a lot of people. So it's still helping that person look their best, change their dynamics, their feelings, their emotions. I mean, there's nothing like a good haircut, a new do. It'll just change your whole dynamic. I feel like the balance has to be keeping my faith in check, making sure that God is just number one, because when you come to the end of your strength, when you come to the end of your abilities, you have to know that it's bigger than you. I love telling individuals that go into business, it's not for everybody. It's definitely not a get rich quick opportunity. You have to know if this is really passion or if it is just a hobby. You have to know that. So my name is Alfreda Bony. I am the owner of PSC Consulting, where we support small businesses and nonprofits with workforce and professional development training for their staff, their leaders, and the overall community.